3 months. It's been 3 months to the day almost. Not to the day. I don't even know what day. But it's been 3 months since we've done a chapter overview. So let's talk some One Piece. Chapter 11, title's Flight. And yeah, we're going to get into it and get back to the stuff we need to do. Now I wanted to post a video and I can't stream lately because my internet is just garbage. And it's driving me nuts. It makes me frustrated and angry. I want to stream right now until I get new internet. It's the option, and no, I'd like to keep up on this somewhat. You know, at least 2 or 3 of these a month. But right now we can do more, so we're gonna do more. But yeah, chapter 11, flight with the cover page is Luffy running with the cheetah. It appears he's racing it, and yeah. Not too bad for a cover page. He also has a part where he's talking about Vikings. He was just really influenced by Vikings. There was anime when he was a child that he really enjoyed. It's like Vicky the Viking or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, it influenced a lot of his desires to write a pirate manga. And the original pirates kind of goes on. He drops little facts about pirates that some people didn't know. We're not going to get into that because it doesn't really pertain to a lot of this. But anyways, where the chapter left off was Zoro cutting down Buggy, three sword style and all. And you know, the big thing about what happens here is like Zoro's not proving his worth as a swordsman. He's definitely underestimating the villain and the people he's fighting. But yeah, Buggy's crew is just kind of laughing at Zoro because you know he's thinking this battle's finished. Luffy's, you know, yelling to Zoro, "Get me out of here, man! Get me out!" And Zoro walks up and is checking the bars out, seeing if he could cut through it. Apparently they're too thick, and the crew's still laughing. And Zoro just kind of, you know, "Give me the keys, or else this isn't gonna be funny in a minute." And Luffy's like, "You know, these guys are kind of being creepy." Zoro makes just this irk face and gets a nice knife in the side, kind of like by his kidney. He just gets stabbed right on the edge of his like body, right through his belly warmer. And everyone's kind of freaking out. They don't know what's going on. Luffy just screams Zolo, you know, and Nami sees a hand floating there. And Zoro doesn't even really understand what's going on yet. And he sees this floating hand, and you hear chop chop fruit. And Buggy's floating in different pieces behind him. Yeah, we learn about Buggy's devil fruit specifically in this chapter. That it's the chop chop fruit, or I think it's the bara Nomi, which is chop chop, and he can just get cut up, minced into as many little pieces, and he still can organize and work and move around. I think he's got like a 20-yard range or something like that. The pieces can all fly around, and his feet are like the anchor that he's specified to stay to. So he kind of had someone pick up his feet. He can move at the pace they're running at, you know, or whatever, or he can run at his full speed. That's about all he can float within that 20-yard range. He can float around, do whatever. And it's not like if the pieces that are chopped up get separated from him in that 20-yard range that he like that piece is gone. It doesn't work. It just stops functioning. Like it's out of his range. And we'll see kind of how they work around that later. But yeah, Buggy tells him, he's like, you know, I ate a devil fruit. He's like, you can slice me and chop me, but he's like, you can't kill me. He's like, I'm a chop chop man. And his body goes back together. And Nami's, you know, like, I thought devil fruits were myths. And Luffy goes, chop chop man, that guy's a freak. And there's a little box that points its arrow at him, and it says gum gum man. It's awesome. Yeah, Luffy kind of in the earlier sections gets a little freaked out by people with devil fruits. He thinks, you know, everyone else is really strange, but he's the weirdest one of them all for sure. And Yeah, so Buggy just says, you're not he kind of just states, you're not matched for me. He's like, there's no chance. He's like, it looks like I missed a vital spot on you, but you still took a pretty serious wound. And Zoro's just pissed at himself. He's like, I came to save Luffy, and now I'm the one being saved. And, he feels really dumb that he underestimated his opponent. And I don't think it happens a ton with Zoro. He's actually pretty good. Like he'll be cocky and he'll crap talk people, but like for the most part he doesn't do that. But in this one he definitely does. He thinks like the match is over. He doesn't confirm the kill or anything like that, or confirm his safety. He just assumes it's done and dealt with, and kind of undermines his opponent. And Nami's just kind of like, should I abandon these two? Pretty much, because she's just like, they need to get out of here, and the situation's getting worse now. It was getting better for a second when Zoro showed up, and now it's worse. And Luffy's just pissed. He just starts hearing, he's like, stabbing someone in the back. He's like, that's fighting dirty, which is weird. There shouldn't be fighting dirty, as Luffy knows from watching the Red Hair Pirates, is that like pirates fight dirty. What'd you expect? And as we'll learn later, Buggy is a part of the Red Hair, or not the Red Hair Pirates, is a part of a different pirate crew that him and Shanks work together with. And they learned how to pirate together. But Luffy yells something that definitely will piss Buggy off. He goes, "You got that big nose?" He just shouts at him, making sure he heard him loud and clear. And Buggy just pissed. He just, "You called me big nose?" And Nami's like, "Oh my god." If only she knew what she was getting into. This was only the start. But yeah, she just can't believe he's so foolish to yell something like that. And anyways, he sends a knife flying into Luffy and just sends it shooting into the cage. And Zoro just, screams Luffy because they think he's done for. But Luffy, he's a little more tactful than, he may be a moron, but he definitely has fighting prowess. He catches the blade in between his teeth, breaks it off, and, tells him, he's like, "I swear I'll clobber you." Real badass stuff. Definitely one of the cooler, I say this about a lot of stuff, but one of the cooler moments. Really, when I was first watching the anime, before I even read the manga, I enjoyed that part for sure. It started getting me going, this isn't just cheesy or whatever. But, well, it is cheesy, super cheesy, but it was still cool. But anyways, Buggy just kind of doesn't believe it. He's just like, you guys make me laugh. He's like, "You're all about to die, but you make me laugh nonetheless." And Luffy yells, he's like, "No way I'm gonna die." And he's just so dead serious. And Buggy's like, well, how do you intend to clobber me now? Ain't that a laugh, boys? Luffy tells Zoro to run, and Zoro's just kind of like, "Well, I'm not going to run, dude. I'm trying to save you, man." And he's like, "They're gonna kill you in any moment, And then you see Nami looking at the cannon that's facing Luffy, and you see Luffy just kind of smile at Zoro. Zoro goes, "Ah, gotcha." And Nami's like, the only guy with the swords, the only guy who's proved he's not a moron in most cases, which, God, she doesn't know yet, but she's like, the only competent person who showed up, she's telling him to desert, he's telling him to desert us. It's like, how are we gonna come up with any escape plan here? He's like, there's gotta be a way I can get out of here, And, so Buggy sends his arms, flying over at Zoro with two knives again, and he calls it Chop Chop Cannon. And Zoro's, guarding with what he can. He has one hand guarding over his wound, other hand on his sword, and one sword in his mouth. So he's doing Santoryu, two sword. Is it Santoryu? Or no, Nitoryu. He's using Nitoryu, two sword style, and since Zoro's running, the crew's kind of laughing that he's running and tell him that he won't escape, but he's not running. He runs over to the cannon, boosts it up on its stand, off its stand, kicks it over backwards, so it's pointing at the whole crew, Buggy's crew that is, and there's only a tiny fuse as we remember, because Nami had put it out when it was gonna be fired at Luffy, and Buggy just has this horrified expression. He's just like, "It has a buggy ball in it," and Luffy's just like, "Yeah, hell yeah," and Zoro tells her to light it, and so they fire off a buggy ball. It just explodes the tavern that they're hanging out in. Just blows the roof off of it, and they have this smoke screen behind them that, you know, they're gonna use to try and escape. And so you know, Zoro tells him, he's like, "Now's your chance," and he goes, "Oh, and who are you, by the way?" to Nami, and she's like, "Oh, I'm a thief." And Luffy's like, "Well, she's actually our new navigator." And they start arguing. And Nami's like, "What the hell are you talking about, you know? And you should be trying to get out of your cage right now." And Luffy's like, "Oh, yeah, maybe that's right." And Zoro just, you know, blood coming out of his mouth. He's like, "No problem, just stay in the cage." And Buggy's trying to get through the smoke and find out where they're at and what's going on. And you see Luffy just say, you know, "Zoro, don't do this." He's like, "Your guts will squirt out." And he just makes this kind of, ooh. And blood starts spurting out of Zoro's stab wound. And he just says, "Well, then I'll shove him back in." There's some real, like, just cool badassness going on in this chapter. It's so early on. There's other cool stuff that's badass, but this is, like I said, some of these scenes were cooler. There's cheesier parts of the early chapters, but there's some gold in there, Oda. And Nami's just kind of blown away, you know, at how far that he would go. Some of the stuff these two would do, they really stick to their beliefs, I guess is the way to put it. And she just, yeah, says, "How can you do this?" And Zoro just says, "You know, I do things my own way." And then he has the big steel cage on his back with Luffy in it, and he's carrying it, and he's gonna walk them out of there. And he just says, "So don't give me lip about it." And Nami kind of doesn't understand. She's never met pirates like this. She says, you know, no pirate would sacrifice themselves to save a friend. And they're gone. Buggy and them are looking all over as the smoke clears. And the whole cage is gone, everything. They don't understand what's going on. And one of the crew says, you know, "It's impossible. That's an iron cage, you know. It took us 5 minutes to move it, and they had a group." And I guess someone grabbed the key to the cage also, which we can assume is Nami. And so they get out of there, and Zoro throws Luffy's cage on the ground, and he's, you know, taking a breather. He's got a lot of blood coming out of his side here. And Luffy's, you know, "Oh, if only I could get out of this cage." It's like, yeah, that's the whole predicament here, Luffy, is you're in the cage. It would be great if you could get out. And a couple streets down, you hear him yelling, and they're searching all over for Luffy and Zoro. And Zoro's like, you know, "We're already in a fine mess here." He's like, "We're gonna have to finish what we started." And Buggy yells in the background, it's like, "No more clowning around. Those three are trying to make me a fool." And starts throwing crap all over. I love it that no clowning around. And so he yells, you know, "Who am I?" And, you know, his crew all stand up, "Captain Buggy." And he says, you know, "We're not dealing with common thieves. This is a declaration of war." So he's pissed. This isn't just like, you know, a joke to him at this point. They've insulted his integrity as a pirate. They've done wrong by the great Captain Buggy. Yeah. Next chapter, we're gonna be searching for Luffy and Zoro. Loro. I almost said Law and Zoro together. Lorinoro, Zoro. Yeah, I can't do it. But yeah, next chapter we'll be searching for Luffy and Zoro, and gonna meet a dog, and I don't really care for this next chapter. The next, it's like 3, I think, probably. But it's good story building. It's good story building, all right. Okay, it was a shonen in the beginning, early stages. I mean, it's still a shonen, but Oda was still developing his style. But thanks. Do another one probably later today. Actually, I'm probably gonna try and film another one. So I have 2 done, maybe more. We'll see. I'm gonna change outfits for each one. I'm a weirdo. We'll see where that one ends up. Also, some other things I wanted to cover before we take off is so in these early chapters, especially, you'll see as it goes, because obviously we're building up all the crews and stuff, but you see a lot of Zoro and Luffy's interactions. I kind of talked about this before, but the way they interacted, they're very similar and they're very different. They're very simple-minded when they think, and they have great fighting prowess. They have terrible navigation skills, but their desires are kind of different. So, you know, Zoro is after pretty much 2 things: swords and great opponents, because he wants to be the greatest swordsman in the world. So, you know, that's his stance. Luffy is after, you know, building a pirate crew and conquering the Grand Line, and not conquering in the sense of owning it, but conquering in the sense of being able to freely sail wherever he wants with ease, and find the One Piece, essentially. Now they align, as we learned in the other chapters, because they kind of, you know, in tandem. Zoro can find his opponents to prove his worth as a swordsman as he goes with them. But as he said before, he doesn't want any of Luffy's goals to impede within his dream. And it's kind of the arrangement they have now. But as we'll see, even with this last chapter, is Zoro will put his neck on the line, the same as Luffy would, but for each other. They'll put their neck on the line for each other, even if it probably would cost them their dreams. You know, Zoro didn't have to carry Luffy out of there. That's something that risks his life. He doesn't gain anything from it. It's not like he's getting a sword fight out of it. He's trying to escape. I was trying to escape, and I really had this kind of tooth and nail look on things. I would have just left Luffy, you know, but that's not how Zoro is. He's more honorable. He has more respect for Luffy. Luffy is proved himself to Zoro. It's cool. And then we see with Nami, who isn't a part of the crew yet, but Luffy's already claiming. Her interactions are a lot of frustration, but admiration too. She's very frustrated by the way they behave. Zoro and Luffy in particular right now. But she's impressed by their bravado and you know, honor code, their faith to each other. You know, she hasn't seen that in pirates. She has a lot of disrespect and distaste for pirates in general, like Buggy, someone who squashes the little people and takes what they want, and has no moral, I guess, and there's no camaraderie really. You know, Buggy looks at most of his crew as expendable. He just can get new people. And that's the exact opposite of Luffy. And Luffy looks at each person, whoever joins his crew, as a very valuable asset, and someone that he sees truly as a friend or family. That's true Nakama, in a sense. But yeah, that will do it. Chapter 11, Flight. Well, catch you in a bit, guys. I gotta go to the hospital now.